Hello, everyone, and welcome here to AZ Sports Box Live. I'm Caleb Bouchy, being joined here in the Cronkite Studios, or the Cronkite Edit Bays, on the 6th floor in downtown Phoenix, Arizona. Being joined here by Henry Steiner and Nicole Pinter from scattered all across the country. Henry, I'm assuming you're joining us from Livingston, New Jersey once again.
Yes, that would be correct.
And Nicole,
correct
me if I'm wrong, Vernon Hills, Illinois?
Yeah. Oh my God, you got it.
Yes, I remember. All right. Well, so much sports news to go on, from free agency to soccer, the World Cup, the Gold Cup. Yeah, so much has happened. But let's get right into Arizona sports related. And Henry, why don't you start us off with your favorite topic of the show?
My favorite topic of the show is definitely going to be baseball for this show, apparently. The Rockies lost a 3-game series to the Diamondbacks.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
They did break up the Diamondbacks had a no-hitter going into the 7th. The Rockies broke it up. Hello, person in the back of Caleb. Yeah, it was an interesting series. Most of the Rockies' offense came from the long ball. They're currently on a 6-game losing streak. The Rockies are, after losing a 3-game series to, I think, the Houston Astros, and then followed that up with 3-game loss to the Arizona Diamondbacks. The bright side for the Diamondbacks, they now go into the All-Star break with a winning record at 46-45, and I'm pretty sure they are in possession of the second wild card in the MLB playoff picture.
Yeah, I think they're 1 game out. Obviously, it's going to be a while until their next series against LA because they got the All-Star break ahead in Cleveland. Nicole, what are your thoughts about this, the D-backs' recent sweep against Colorado?
Well, I think any time you can win going into the All-Star break, like, that's huge. Like, the Cubs couldn't do that. I mean, they went 1-1 against the White Sox, but anytime you can, especially a sweep, like before you get that week or so off, it's pretty big for the Diamondbacks. Not so good for the Rockies, but like they'll pick themselves back up.
Okay. Now, going into the rest of the season, the D-backs have some little fight going on. They actually could get into the postseason. How are things looking at right now? Could we see the D-backs stay in that wild card slot, or maybe even a spot higher at this point? What are the predictions?
I don't think that the Diamondbacks, again, I did predict that they would be in it very late. Again, I still don't think the roster is deep enough. They will get back David Peralta, who's been out on injury, but I don't think that will be enough. They still have just too much holes in their lineups. Ketel Marte has really stepped up and been that all-star that they needed. Greg Holland's been very solid as a closer, but I still think that the Rockies have just a better team and that there are other teams that will just take the wild card spots from them. And obviously the Dodgers are right now one of the best teams in the entire MLB, so it'll take a lot for them to catch up.
And you speak of players, and their story I want to bring up, Carson Kelly, Luke Weaver, and Andrew Young. Just looking at this past season, because I think it's been good enough to judge on, and then with the Paul Goldschmidt trade. Paul Goldschmidt, unfortunately, I don't think made the All-Star lineup this year. Sorry?
He is not.
So do you think the D-backs get the better end of the deal, looking back on this trade?
I mean, it all depends on what Paul Goldschmidt wanted. I'm pretty sure they got some other prospects as well. Luke Weaver is a very solid pitcher. But Paul Goldschmidt wanted out, and I mean, you have to make your star happy. They did him with a lot of respect. They sent him where he wanted to go, and so, I mean, I feel like it was definitely the Cardinals actually have been shockingly bad, but it's also only been 1/2 season, and Paul Goldschmidt is a top of the class player, so I think he will bounce back. But I feel like it could have been beneficial for both teams.
Okay, well, let's move on to our next topic, and we'll go a little fast on this one because we did talk about this a lot last week. Arizona Rattlers, the final game of the year for the Rattlers as they will be playing in the United Bowl Championship against the Sioux Falls Storm, one of the best teams in IFL history. So this is going to be an exciting game. The Rattlers could make history off of here. They could pull off a perfect undefeated season all year undefeated. That could be huge.
Has that ever happened in any type of arena football? Has that happened in the IFL before? Well,
no, and even for arena football, I don't think this has happened in an undefeated perfect record, even going into the playoffs. So this could definitely be historic. And it's not like, what is that? I'm sure we've probably seen this in the NFL, but in any football league, this has not happened for a while.
The last time it happened, well, again, the New England Patriots in 2007/8, when they made it all the way to the Super Bowl and lost to the New York Giants with the David Tyree catch, who is also from right next door, Montclair. And then I guess, the last one would be the Don Shula Dolphins. With their perfect season, they went 14-0 going into the playoffs. And then, they won out I think 73 or 74 Dolphins.
Are we talking just NFL here?
Yeah,
any
perfect season Dolphins.
Any Bears weren't far off either.
Oh yeah, the Bears were 15-1.
Yeah, one loss, but hey, we didn't lose in the big one though.
No, they did not. They beat the Patriots. That was when the Fridge scored the touchdown, right?
Yep, and not Walter Payton, but I don't care. I'm okay with that.
Yes. Oh, yes. I'm sure a lot of people remember that.
Another topic for another day.
The 1972 Dolphins. That's what it was. I was 1 year off.
You're close.
Okay. So just to wrap up this topic very quickly, because like I said, we did talk about this last week. Will the Rattlers win it all? This is Sioux Falls' 10th consecutive championship game appearance. The only two championship games they lost to was against Iowa last year and Arizona the year before that. So, is Sioux Falls going to win, or is it going to be the Rattlers?
I think right now the Rattlers are just on such a roll. I think they have the momentum. Obviously, it's been a 2-week break, but they've been the best team all around the season. And while Sioux Falls is good, I think it'll be a great game, close game. I do think the Rattlers will come out ahead.
I'm with Henry. I wish I could watch the Arena Football League, or Indoor Football League, whatever it's called. I can't, or I don't know how to. They play CFL.
You can go onto Reddit. Reddit streams. Yeah, they have Reddit streams for it.
Cool.
No, well, I will give instructions. So the game will be broadcast on Fox Sports Arizona Plus for anyone wanting to watch the game on TV, or you can go to the Indoor Football League YouTube channel and watch the game on there. They stream the games on YouTube.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's nice.
But
oh my god, I don't AAF.
AAF, yes, rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
But hey, we'll the same go for the XFL. So
that will be good. That'll be exciting.
We'll have to say that for next week.
Next year.
Next year, yeah.
Moving on, that's going to do it for our AZ Arizona sports topics. As it is summertime, it's a pretty slow time for Arizona sports in general. But it's time now to go outside the AZ sports box. And this is where our segments are going to get really exciting. And we start with a huge world title. And Nicole, why don't you tell us all about it?
Yeah, the U.S. women's soccer team, it's soccer, not football now, won 2-0 over the Netherlands with a goal by Megan Rapinoe in the 61st minute with a penalty kick. And then Rose Lavelle in the 69th minute with the second goal. And unfortunately, I missed this game, but I've watched every other game up until this point. I mean, France was their biggest test. England was probably close second, but once they got past France, it was theirs to lose. I mean, they were clearly the dominant team, and for them to just go out and win, and even with all the politics around it too, I think it's just great. I mean, how can you not? Great. Yeah.
I don't think France was really the last obstacle for Team USA. I think it was more England.
Yeah,
England. Yeah, it might have been more England. Once they got a hold, I mean, France was able to stay in the game, but once they got a hold of them, it was pretty easy. But
although I will say that goal by Rose Lavelle, that has probably been one of the greatest sports moments in her life.
That was off Julie Ertz, right? Zach Ertz's wife.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a beautiful, beautiful pass.
Yeah, that was just an amazing goal. Megan Rapinoe, I think, got her goal on I think it was a penalty
Yeah.
kick.
Yeah.
But she's already had countless goals throughout this World Cup season.
I think
So
I mean, her and Alex
she-
Morgan have been having themselves a World Cup. Like they've just been so dominant. This whole team has been so dominant the whole tournament.
yeah, and I honestly didn't think they were going to get far, especially since they lost stars like Abby Wambach, who retired after the previous Women's World Cup in 2015. But no, I mean, this team's going to be better than ever, it sounds like. I mean, there's no stopping them. Also, I want to bring up a little bit of a controversial thing. Megan Rapinoe had some rational comments to FIFA because the World Cup was not the only thing to take place yesterday. The Copa America Championship and the Gold Cup, which men's USA team in soccer doing what they do best, and that is embarrassing the country.
Hey, they made it to the final. It was a 1-0 loss to Mexico.
Yeah, but I feel like
Well,
we were more on defense than we were on offense. It's just like you knew Mexico was going to win the game.
I mean, it was Altidor's miss was brutal. I watched it. I mean, that was a brutal miss, but like that's a miss that happens, and it happens a lot more frequently than you think. So there's no need to get on his case. But I mean, it was in like the 7th minute that goal could have happened. There was still so much time left to make up for said missed goal. So I mean, to put it on anybody would be pretty poor. But I mean, to have all those on the same day when after the game they were chanting equal pay. I don't know.
What do you think about that? The entire stadium is absolutely hilarious. Like
It was awesome.
it was awesome because at just the amount of people, you could hear how loud it was, and everyone, it looked like everyone, I don't know if you guys have seen this on Twitter, was just chanting equal pay. And I mean,
The
honestly,
whole stadium.
the women's this year have put on, the women's soccer team, I think, has put on a far better showing than the men's over the last decade, like entirely.
Oh,
Well, yeah, I mean, look at Team
Right.
USA's performance in the 2018 World Cup. What did you guys remember? Oh, wait, they never went to the World Cup. So, I mean,
I
what does
mean,
that say?
I don't want to be here and put down the men's team because honestly, we should want them to get better, and their situation with why they're not better sucks. But for the women's case, for there not to be an equal pay or an equal pay cut is preposterous because I think they draw the most attention. No one really, I don't know how many people watch the U.S. men's play. I know I really only watch the highlights. Everyone was behind the U.S. women's team. Everyone has been for so much longer, it feels like, than the men's. Mostly because we don't see the men's team a lot.
I feel like it's because, again,
It's because
we want to see winners. And unfortunately, the men's national team has not really provided that many W's. Whereas the Women's World Cup
want them to be winners, but they're just, it's like, sorry. Whether or not the men's or women's are winners, women still deserve equal pay. They're just helping their case so much more by being so good.
Yeah, sprinkles are only for winners. So,
Yeah.
Moving on. Before we conclude this topic, like I said, Megan Rapinoe with the rational comments on the Gold Cup and the Copa America game in Rio de Janeiro. Do you guys agree about the scheduling conflicts? Shouldn't have the World Cup final game in France should have been on its own?
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know. I feel like this one, there was enough of a time difference. I think it was like a 12-hour delay between the two games. So it's not like they were sapping away other viewers. I feel like they almost should have had it closer. It could have gone either way. I think that there was enough of a lag where no one was going to be all soccered out. And I feel like they definitely had their time. The only thing is I would have put the World Cup final after the Gold Cup. So I think if they swap times, that way it would show that like it's clear like a main event card where I think that the Women's World Cup was the quote unquote main event. But again, that also has to do with time differences and where it was happening.
Yeah.
Because that was in France, which is a bunch of different. So I think that this one, while I do agree that women and men's soccer especially should be equal, I do think that this one was not as deliberate to put the men over the women. I think this was kind of just how the cards happened to fall.
Yeah. No, I do agree with you, and I get that Rapinoe probably just wanted the day to be the U.S. Women's Soccer Day, which I get. That makes sense. But yeah, I'm with you. Going back on what I said a little bit ago, it wasn't deliberate. It was just how everything came to be scheduled, and somehow they just all ended up on the same day. But there was enough time where you could celebrate. Like, no one was gonna go out and party or whatever. Maybe they were like the whole day. If there was more soccer on, which there was, I think, MLS on, if that was live, if I saw it.
There was also there's the Gold Cup and the Copa America.
Yeah, so I mean, I think it was probably fine. It definitely wasn't deliberate.
Yeah, as long as they didn't sap viewers, like it wasn't like they had to like choose which one and like switch between the channels. It was again, like there was a definite difference, and so
Yeah,
I think anyone who wanted to watch both could watch both.
Yeah, if it was at the same time, I'd get it a little more, but they weren't.
Well, going into that and talking about another sport where men and women can have some equal pay, hot dog eating. So the 4th of July, we had Joey Chestnut and Miki Sudo winning the hot dog eating contest. Both respectively, Joey Chestnut was, I think, 2 shy of breaking his own record that he set last year. He ate over 70 hot dogs. And Miki Sudo, and you can see Nicole's reaction. Miki Sudo ate a much more reasonable, I think it was 35. This is her 6th win in a row, which ties the record for most wins in a row in this competition, the Nathan's annual hot dog eating contest. Have you seen Joey Chestnut? Like, first of all, how is he?
Like 2 seconds, but I can't after that.
Like, what is it? 70 hot dogs in 10 minutes? It's unbelievable.
Did you see the 30 for 30 on them? Cameron,
what?
Did you see the 30? So 30 for 30 came out, I believe, not last week, but the week before last, about how they train. And like he trains like his mouth to be able to do. It's really strange.
Oh gosh, man.
Really strange.
I don't think that's PG-13 here.
Hey, I think I would totally be all for it if I can be like a millionaire off of making a career of eating junk food. I mean, I think everyone would love that.
Listen, I like a good hot dog. I do. Maybe 2, but like 70?
70 hot dogs. Yeah,
Like,
71.
how can that be healthy for the human body?
Exact number was
it's not. It's not, but like, do you not eat the night before? Like, maybe that's discovered in the 30 for 30. I only watched that clip, but like, do you eat the night before? Do you only have fluids? Do you go on a diet the week before? Like, I do. Watch the 30 for 30.
I've had friends that, gosh, I've had friends that have watched the 30 for 30 and they literally cannot make it through the first like 30 minutes because it is so gross.
Yeah.
Well, have you seen the video of New York Mets player Jeff McNeil, a breakout player this year? He had a up close and live view of it, and you could just see his reaction. It's absolutely priceless. And by the way, Caleb, as you were saying, we were mentioning the price. Joey Chestnut's net winnings so far, his net worth is supposed to be about $1 million, and the Nathan's hot dog eating contest pays $10,000 to each winner.
Wow.
So, yeah, they got that equal pay. But you know what's funny? Chestnut has sponsorships. He reportedly in 2014 alone made almost $250,000 on sponsorships. I don't know what you would possibly want him to sponsor. Maybe like a George Foreman type grill, some sort of like food, or I don't even know what else. But yeah, get that Joey Chestnut sponsorship money.
And hey, equal pay, right? It's a start. So
gotta start somewhere.
Yes, right. So moving on now, let's
Sure.
talk about get into some nitty-gritty stuff. And this has been anticipated for such a long time. We've been wanting to know the answer to this question. Where will Kawhi Leonard go? Will he stay with Toronto? Will he go to LA? It's been convinced that he's been wanting to go to the Clippers for a while, but then all of a sudden at the last second things changed. Well, now it's official. Kawhi Leonard is going to the LA Clippers. And I believe the Clippers also got a trade in Paul George, if I'm correct.
Yes.
This is crazy. Clippers are definitely putting themselves on the map for next season. What do you guys think of this?
Yeah, I mean, the trade was an immense trade. I think it was 5 first rounders. They traded their arguably the best player of last year, Danilo Gallinari, and who's the other player they traded? I also traded another player. It was a just huge haul that they gave up for Paul George. But they got Kawhi, easily the most coveted free agent once Kevin Durant had an injury of this year. He signed a 4-year max with the Clippers. They re-signed Patrick Beverley. They were able to. They did lose a few stars. They were able to retain Lou Williams. The Clippers are going to be a definite, very interesting team. We do have a lot talking about that later in the show, so I don't think we should dive in too deep since that's a lot of our rapid fire questions. So I think we should probably move on to the next topic.
Yes. We're going to save all of that for rapid fire because we're going to have an interesting debate on which LA team is going to be better in the NBA, the Lakers or the Clippers, especially with that Avery Bradley trade. That's going to be a lot to talk about.
Signing.
What?
Signing. It was not a trade.
Sign.
Sorry.
Well,
and also DeMarcus Cousins.
Okay.
But we're going to save all that for rapid fire.
No, but this isn't the LA versus LA. This is just the general reporting of Kawhi's trade.
Yes.
Or not Kawhi's trade. It's Kawhi signing.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is something we won't talk about later, so I'm going to bring it up now because the misreporting on where he was going.
The amount.
Absolutely incredible. I mean, Chris Broussard, I don't know if Jalen Rose's was like a prediction or that it was like
he's been 99% positive that he's re-signing.
Yeah, Stephen A. Smith said something. I mean, I'm shocked how many people were so convinced he was going to the Lakers because I didn't see. I mean, I was praying he wasn't. I didn't see any reason he was not going to go to the Clippers. Obviously, we didn't know about the PG trade, which I am shocked didn't get out either. But I mean, people were saying the Clippers are out. It's Raptors or Lakers. It was kind of funny looking back on now, but I mean, like people saying their sources. Like, listen to all the young journalists out there. Make sure your sources are actual sources, not just saying sources say.
Oh, exactly.
Because it just happens so much with professionals on this. Like, I don't know how you can listen to anything Chris Broussard says again.
Right.
Like, I think it was just insane.
Okay.
That's all I got.
We'll continue the free agency discussion in our unrapid fire segments coming up later in the show. Nicole, let's get into some more serious topic. And would you like to bring that up?
Yeah, sad topic. Last week, Los Angeles Angels pitcher Tyler Skaggs, he was found dead in his hotel room last Monday, just hours before they were to face the Texas Rangers in Texas. He was only 27 years old. He was found in his hotel room sometime in the afternoon. They canceled that game. They were able to go back out the next day. There were a couple pitchers who drew his number and changed their number for the night, 45 on the on the mound.
But the first pitch of the game was it was actually really heartwarming to see how all teams went together. A few other you could see tribute was paid around the entire league. It was a bunch of tragedy, but you could also see how much people really cared about him, how good of an influence he was, how much the community, and it was kind of nice to see how sports really does bring people together. You could see his best friend throughout the first pitch. He was wearing his number 2, and it was really heartwarming to see. And it was an unfortunate case of a life taken way too soon, but it was someone who will definitely leave a legacy and will definitely be remembered in not only the eyes of fans, but peers alike.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you speak of that, it sounds like this guy left an amazing legacy. He's influenced so many people. I mean, it's definitely a life taken way too soon. Currently, his cause of death is currently undetermined.
No foul play.
Suicide is not suspected.
Yeah, it's no announcement. I don't think it's gonna be made till October, from what the autopsy's latest update.
I didn't read that.
That's what I've seen. Who knows? It could happen earlier. I think the latest I think it would happen would be October.
Oh, I just read that too, actually.
Yeah, so definitely pretty sad, especially because I read an article that he wanted so bad to play in Dodger Stadium, and
he was
in an Angels uniform,
and he was really close to doing it. And I mean, it's always, like Henry said, it's heartwarming to see that it's more than a game. It's more than baseball. It's just a sport these guys play. They're just wearing jerseys because they have to be on one side or the other. So that it's always nice to see that. It's just terrible the way it has to happen.
Yes, indeed. All right.
Well, let's
Henry.
move on.
Yeah.
Next topic is the World Series of Poker. It has begun. It's $10,000 buy-in. It is the biggest event for all poker for the entire year. So far, they are on, I believe, day 3 or the second half of day 2. Some notables in the field: Calais Campbell, Arizona Cardinals defensive end, is still in. Daniel Negreanu has been out. Some other interesting people taking part. James Holzhauer, the Jeopardy champion, he will be competing in it. Phil Kessel's been competing in it. A bunch of different actors and actresses. Ray Romano, I know. But yeah, so it's going to be pretty interesting. So far, some favorites such as Phil Ivey, Daniel Negreanu, and Michael Mizrachi, the grinder, have already been eliminated. But it's still wide open. There's still, I think, 8 more days, there's still a bunch more time. But yeah, that's all we have. We are now going into our next segment, which is unrapid fire. Since we only have 3 people left, we're not going to put on a time limit. We're just going to be reasonable and make it through this. So again, we talked about it. Paul George trade happened. It was the Thunder acquiring 5 first-round picks, including some protected, some unprotected. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who was the Clippers' first-round pick last year, and again, Danilo Gallinari. And what the Clippers got was Paul George. So the first question, who won this trade? Did the Clippers win, or was it the Thunder?
Well, I mean, if you it sounded like the Clippers are kind of going their own route with the Lakers, trying to basically sacrifice so much, trading a lot of stuff away just to get that one player, and that was Anthony Davis. It's in terms of this trade, obviously, is a lot different because we're talking about a different player here. But I mean, I think it's somewhat of a gain for the Clippers. I think it will eventually work out. It really depends though on how the whole season goes. So
I think the Clippers won this trade because I kind of think they're following what the Raptors did with Kawhi. Who cares about the future? Let's win now. And I like that mentality because maybe they stay, maybe they don't, whatever. But if you can win now, why wait? And I think that's what the Clippers are doing. That's something I wish. I mean, the Bulls can't. They can't. But
they don't have the equity.
Russell Westbrook's out there. We'll get to that. But but I think the Clippers won this trade. They got what they wanted.
I'm going to disagree with you there. I think that for what it was worth, I think that the Thunder won the grade. They got, first of all, 5 first-round picks, including 4 unprotected, including the Heat's 2021 pick, the Clippers' 2022 pick, 2024, and 2026. They got one protected pick, which obviously isn't as more valuable. But not only that, they got a player who played like an all-star last year, Danilo Gallinari, who is on an expiring contract. So if they need to, they can free that up for $22.6 million. And then they got a first-round rookie from last year, first-rounder, who played like an absolute monster, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. So, and obviously, Paul George had asked for a trade. So if you had to get rid of a star player, that is exactly what you need. You need to get that type of premium. It's the same thing that the Pelicans got with Anthony Davis. And again, Paul George wanted to leave anyway. And so Gallinari's numbers last year, 20 points per game, 6 rebounds, 2.5 assists, and I think it was 2.5 threes as well. So he's an outstanding player that they got. And yeah, I think that the Thunder, if they want to go into rebuilding, this is how they do it. I think that in the future, for this year, I think the Clippers will win. But further down the line, I think that this is the Thunder doing what they needed to do.
Yeah, but we're talking about now.
Exactly. I mean,
I'm talking about overall because again, basketball isn't just a one-year sport. I mean, you look at the Suns, what they've been doing. They've been tanking for how many years? I think that this way the Thunder, I think maybe they have one down year, but even then they could still make the playoffs. They still got a borderline all-star in to replace Paul George in the same position. So I think it'll be very interesting.
Well, I mean, I guess it really depends on who they draft. But for now, I totally think the Clippers win this trade. So, I mean, it's really hard to tell because you don't know who they've drafted yet. And time will tell. So, moving on, though, our next question. So, like we talked about in last week's show with Kevin Durant and the Brooklyn Nets forming a super team next season, how far will the Brooklyn Nets go next season? Could possibly an NBA Finals appearance claiming the Eastern title? Never know. Henry, why don't we start with you on this one?
I think that the Brooklyn Nets, I think they were the 6th seed last year. They won a few games. They stole a few games. This year, again, Kevin Durant is going to be injured. He ruptured his Achilles, and it's a long recovery. He probably won't be back till about March. So it's going to really come down to Kyrie and DeAndre Jordan, along with the other mainstays, people who held over, such as Spencer Dinwiddie, absolute amazing player. DeMar Carroll, I think, is still on the team. So I do think that they got a lot and they, again, prepared for their future. I think next year they'll be around the same spot that they were. Kevin Durant, Achilles is the most devastating injury in all of basketball. So we really don't know how well he'll be, but let's assume that he goes back the same way he was with maybe a little bit of rust. I think that the Nets can be around a 500 team, maybe sneak into the playoffs, get a few wins. But I do think that this year was not the year for the Nets.
Well, I mean, and I'll let Nicole go in a few. But yeah, Nicole, actually, why don't you go first?
Yeah, I mean, like, I agree with you with Kevin Durant most likely being out this season, or at least a good part of the season, that this year will probably be a down year. But at the same time, looking at the Eastern Conference, if I click on the right tab on my computer, I mean, it's wide open. If Kawhi's gone, so the Raptors will probably sneak into the playoffs, but probably nothing more. The Bucks won't have as good of a year as last year, and that's not a knock on their team. It's just that lightning doesn't strike twice. The Sixers are kind of in shambles. They kind of were last year. I don't think the process is working. Boston is probably going to be tougher than most people think, but say KD's back in time for the playoffs, easy. And then, I mean, like Indiana, Orlando, like Detroit. I'm just naming the teams who made the playoffs last year. I don't think Indiana is going to be that hard to beat. Orlando
Victor Oladipo is a very clear-cut all-star. He got last year, and again, they still made the 6th seed. They still maintained. They were the 6th seed without their best player, who is a bona fide all-star.
Yeah.
So how much better do you think they'll be with him? And not to mention, they have signed some other players. Obviously, they didn't get any notables. I know they wanted D'Angelo Russell, which I think would have been absolutely huge for the Pacers. But I do think that the Pacers are an underrated team. I mean, yeah.
I agree with you.
I just future week as well. Who will win the East in 2019?
I still think the East is pretty wide open. I mean, Miami will probably make the playoffs next year. They weren't in last year. Detroit, you should be able to walk through. I don't even know how they snuck in last year, but I mean, they had a couple good signings.
He added Jimmy Butler. Miami Heat, Tyler Herro. It's been absolutely
could add Westbrook, but we'll get there. But
exactly.
Well, bringing it back to the Brooklyn Nets story, just to respond to the question, I think they definitely could claim the Eastern title. And yes, like I said last week, Kevin Durant is going to be out for a good portion of the season, but as long as he gets back before playoff season and the Nets clinch a decent playoff spot, I think they can get there. It won't be easy, but they can get there as long as Kevin Durant comes back in time for the playoffs.
I think how far can they go? Win the East. How far will they go? Maybe just make the playoffs. We'll see.
We'll see. Yes. Henry.
So we are going on to our next question. We've kind of briefly talked about this, but Nicole, we'll start with you. Who was your 2019 Women's World Cup MVP?
I think it has to go to Alex Morgan. I mean, her and Rapinoe both had great a tournament the whole time through. I can't find words, but Alex Morgan was just dominant the whole time. I mean, she sipped the tea against England. I'm trying to look up how many goals she had, but for some reason I can't do
She
it.
had 6 or 7 goals. I think it was 6 goals.
Okay. I mean, she was a bona fide star of this team. They all were, but I think Alex Morgan was the one everyone looked to. I think Rapinoe doesn't get it just because she was out against England, but I think it's Alex Morgan.
Caleb, I saw you make the same exact face that I did when we saw that. I know we've talked about this before. Caleb, what do you think?
Well, I only made that face because that was my answer. I would also say Alex Morgan. She's a co-captain. She broke the record for most goals in a single women's game. She's just been completely unstoppable, and I think she'll be back for the next World Cup in 4 years. Yeah, I mean, Megan Rapinoe is also good. I don't really agree that she got the MVP award because I think they did give her the Golden Boot.
Yeah.
But yeah, like Nicole pointed out, she did sit out the game against England. Did she also? Was she also benched for the game against France a lot?
No, she actually scored the winning goal against France.
Okay, I knew. Okay, just making sure. But yeah, I mean, I think it's Alex Morgan. So I mean, she's broken records, and
yeah, how can we argue with breaking records?
Henry,
I'm going to disagree with both of you here. I think that Alex Morgan took advantage of a very, very, very poor Singapore team. Out of the 6 goals she scored 5 of them against Singapore. And it's not like they were the first 1, 2, 3 goals. She scored the 4th, the 8th, the 10th, and the 14th, and I think the 7th goal. So almost all of her goals scored were in garbage time. She had 1 legitimate goal, whereas Megan Rapinoe, she had the game-winning goal in the final, the game-winning goal in the France, who a lot of people thought was the most important game. And I think that Megan Rapinoe,
if it's a penalty kick, everyone knows they're most likely to get it in the net if it's a penalty kick.
I would disagree with you there. Penalty kicks are not guaranteed. And
no, they're not, but it's most likely the goalie is not going to be able to save. It's a guessing game for the goalie, so it's most likely going to go in. It's not guaranteed, but it's most likely.
I mean, if you overthink it, you miss. That's that. If you overthink a penalty kick, you're not going to make it.
Yeah.
But the game that everyone thought the U.S. had the most to lose in was the France game, and Megan Rapinoe scored all of the U.S.'s points in that game. Alex Morgan was pretty much nowhere to be seen. She didn't have any assists in that game. Megan Rapinoe basically brought down the biggest threat to the U.S., and neither of those were penalty kicks, by the way. I think she also scored more goals than Morgan and against better teams. No offense to Singapore, but they were largely outmatched, largely outclassed. I think the final score was 13-1, if that, or 13-0. And Morgan, again, she didn't even score a goal until the 4th goal of the game. By then, it was basically already over.
Yeah, but even if Rapinoe didn't score that goal in the final matchup, if you look at the scoreboard, Netherlands didn't even score a goal anyway, so the USA was going to win with that 1 goal. So, I mean, would you disagree with that, though?
I think the first goal is the hardest goal to get in any type of game.
Sure.
And who scored that first goal in the final matchup?
Rapinoe.
No.
Yes.
Was it?
Yeah.
No,
for the first goal in all of the important matchups except for England.
Okay, yes. It was the first goal. I got outsmarted. Anyways.
Debate battle coming soon.
All right. Now, moving on to the next question on the World Cup topic. We currently do not know where the 2023 FIFA World Cup, Women's World Cup is going to be because FIFA has not given it a host yet. But yeah, who's going to win the 2023 FIFA Women's World Cup? Can Team USA pull off a 3-peat and their 5th consecutive title? Is it going to be done?
How could it be their 3-peat and 5th consecutive title?
Yeah, wait.
So
5th consecutive title game, I think.
They just won their 4th title
overall. Yeah, because they lost their I think 2011 to Japan.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, that was great. I mean, as far as storylines go, that was absolutely insane. They have a rewinder episode on that for SB Nation. I think you guys.
I remember that game. That was
SB Nation.
The one time where US might have been the bad guys in the.
But yeah, who's gonna win 2023? Can Team USA win it again?
Right now, I don't think there's any reason to think they can't, just because of how dominant they've looked so far. But I mean, that's what, 4 years down the line.
4 years,
So
yeah.
A lot could change. I don't see a lot changing with this team, but a lot could change with France, England, Sweden, Netherlands. Although I don't think they'll make it back to the final in 2023. That's one for sure prediction I can make right now. But I think everything's so different in 4 years. It's so hard. Like Michael Phelps even came back after 3 years after he said he was going to retire, and a whole year before the next Olympics. So I don't think any of them will retire. Even if they do, I think there's
has already announced that she will not be coming back.
Okay. But there's plenty of good.
Let me double check that. But
they have depth, and when you have depth, players can retire and you're fine. We saw that with Wambach. We'll probably see that with Rapinoe if that is true. Why are you?
No, I just learned that Megan Rapinoe was married to Sue Bird.
Oh yeah, you didn't know that?
No, I did not know that was Sue Bird.
Huh. The more you know.
Yeah. I knew every day.
I know one team you're going to want to look out for is England in 4 years' time. They were definitely really competitive. They were extremely frustrated when on those last 2 games, losing to USA and then losing to Sweden in the 3rd place game. I don't know if you guys saw the head coach kind of caused some disrespect with Sweden until after the game to say this game was just a boring game to watch anyways for us. Like there was no point. And the fact that he waited till after the game to say that just goes to show a little poor sportsmanship. Where were you guys on that? But where do you guys see that?
Hold on. By the way, I just want to make an update. Megan Rapinoe has actually stated that she would like to play in the 2023 World Cup, but currently she's a 34-year-old with a history of severe ACL issues. So only time will tell. But right now she does want to play. And I think that if she does, then that would have to be my pick.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, 4 years down the line, there's no reason to not pick him now, but also, like Caleb.
There's every reason to not pick him now.
Yeah.
Hey, if Tiger Woods can make a comeback, then so can Megan Rapinoe.
And hey, here it goes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and Caleb, like you were saying with England, I mean, they looked better than I thought they would this World Cup. So who knows what 4 years could do?
Yes, indeed.
Next topic. The All-Star break is coming up, and we have the 2019 Home Run Derby. Can I get you guys' picks?
Yeah, Nicole, why don't you go first?
I was gonna say you go first.
You go first.
You know what? I'll go first. Okay, I can introduce the topic and go first. I'm going to go with Pete Alonso. He's a very young player, pretty much unknown for I'm going to guess most of you guys. But you know what? He's a very exciting. He definitely has that power, and he's a dark horse. So he unfortunately didn't draw the most favorable matchup in round 1. I think has already been announced. But yeah, I'm going to go with Pete Alonso. Baseman.
Okay. Well, I got my pick.
Up the other competitors, so you guys can make your choices. But Nicole, how about you? What do you think?
Well, Caleb has his pick. Hold on, I need to look
at the. Then we'll go to Caleb.
I'm going to say from the Toronto Blue Jays, Vladimir Guerrero Jr.
Really?
Ooh, okay.
Yes.
Storyline, but okay, go on.
I feel like it is a little bit of a hot take, but I feel like he definitely could pull it off. So I mean, what was it? No one thought. I mean, Bryce Harper was a pretty good favorite last in a previous All-Star game when it was in DC. No one thought he was going to win the Derby, and he did.
Some predictions that he was.
I know I didn't think that he was going to win.
I didn't think Bryce Harper was going to win the home run derby.
Yeah.
I think Vladimir is in the same.
Either, but I did see predictions out there. But besides the point.
I mean, what is it? If you look at the odds, wow, plus 450. Vladimir's the second best favorite.
Yeah, I always said hot take. Vladimir Guerrero is
I said a little bit of a hot take because you never know what could happen in the Derby.
who is the
Anything can
favorite
happen.
so far?
Wait, what?
Who's the favorite?
Who's the favorite?
Bell.
No. No. Pete Alonso. Sorry, Pete Alonso.
Pete Alonso is?
Yeah.
Really?
Okay.
CBS Sports says he's not. That's interesting.
No. What is it?
From the Pittsburgh Pirates is what
yeah.
I think.
I'm looking on SB Nation's site. Hopefully this like refreshes by the time we go off the air. But yeah, it's Pete Alonso is the favorite. I cannot believe they think he's the favorite. But no, when it comes to overall, my pick, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is gonna be your 2019 Home Run Derby champ.
All right, Nicole.
I'm gonna go with maybe this is. I don't know if this is more of a hot take. I'm gonna go with Matt Chapman. You know, he's got
from the third baseman from the Oakland Athletics.
Yes,
Who is a high school teammate with Nolan Arenado, all-star third baseman. They were on the same exact team.
They are, or they were.
They
But
were. Same team, same position. Both went on to be MLB All-Stars at the same position. Interesting. How would you like to play against that high school team?
A shame, really. But no, I mean he has to get through Caleb's picks, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. first. But he's, according to CBS Sports, he's like the sixth favorite, which is interesting that these are as different as they are. But I don't know. I like him getting through Guerrero, if I said that right. You know, I like him getting through the winner of it's Bregman versus Peterson. I think it's all on the draw, almost, of like the bracket. I think Chapman has just a really good line to it. You know, like Duke has every year in the men's tournament. I'm gonna go with Chapman.
All right. Henry, do you agree with any of those picks?
Well, again, my pick originally was Pete Alonso. He's a New York Mets guy. And you know what? He's had the power all year. He's a rookie, and rookies have a fairly okay track record in this event. Again, Guerrero is also very young. But yeah, I'm going to stick with Pete Alonso. I think he's a guy that a lot of people can get behind. And one of my best friends, Ben, has really hyped him up. So he's the one who kind of convinced me on that. So shout out to you, Ben.
Oh.
There you go.
Be interesting. We'll have to find out tonight when the Derby takes place tonight, right?
Yep, ESPN.
Cannot wait. All right.
I believe Eastern. But moving on to the next topic. So now both LA teams are looking pretty good. You got the Lakers, LeBron, Anthony Davis, Rajon Rondo, Boogie Cousins. Yes, I did think about that for a second.
Marcus Cousins, yep.
Because that is
Bradley.
Yeah, because it is real. And then
those are all the 5 players on their team, other than and Troy Daniels from the Suns. But yeah, they really right now I think only have 6 players on their entire roster.
Yeah. So now both LA teams are competent this year, first time in a while. Which LA team will be the superior LA team come this fall?
Okay. I mean,
Caleb, I'm going to go to you first for this one.
I'm going to go first. All right, fine. I'm going to say the LA Clippers. Now, don't get me wrong. The Lakers do have a good, nice little lineup they got, especially, I mean, I wouldn't be shocked that the starter is going to be Ron John, Danny, LeBron, Anthony Davis, DeMarcus Cousins as their starting lineup. But
I'm going to correct you there. Rajon Rondo will not be the starter. Danny Green won't be either. LeBron James will be the starting point guard for the LA Lakers. It was announced earlier today that they are moving him to point guard.
You're helping me out then. So that is basically another reason because you're not Danny Green or Ron John in the starting lineup. I mean, I think when it comes to the Clippers, I mean, they don't. I think overall size, like more all-stars, I think the Lakers have it, but I think it really comes down to quality over quantity. The Clippers, they got Kawhi Leonard, who's obviously, I think Kawhi Leonard's going to immediately take over as leader of the team. And yeah, I think the Clippers can definitely get there. It's more about more of a team building, not just like an all-star team relying on everyone's individual talent. So I think that's how that's one way the Clippers are going to work. And not only that, what was it? The Lakers, when they got LeBron James, everyone thought that they were going to win a title. They got way too cocky, and they didn't even make the playoffs, and they benched LeBron James in March because that's how bad it was.
Playoff mode.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's how bad it was. So I think the Lakers are going to get a little too cocky again.
I love it.
It's gonna be interesting for me. I'm gonna say the Clippers. The reason though is for me is gonna definitely come down to coaching. Doc Rivers, certified coach of the year, I think 2 times, both with the Clippers and with the Celtics. Already won that championship with the Celtics in '08. Is an absolute great coach. And I actually think that moving LeBron James to point is actually a great move. That'll be a starting lineup of probably LeBron James, Troy Daniels, who, in my opinion, was one of the best players for the Suns. And unfortunately, he didn't see a lot of time because he was injured a lot, and sometimes the Suns didn't seem like they wanted to win. But they got Kyle Kuzma, Anthony Davis. I think that the Lakers will be very good, but it does also come down to depth. The Clippers lineup right now is absolutely insane. They got Montrezl Harrell at center, who was a breakout player last year. They had Lou Williams, reigning sixth man of the year, coming off the bench, the best sixth man in the game. They have Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, and they re-signed Patrick Beverley, which I think is absolutely huge. So as long as they can get a little bit more depth, I think the coaching experience of Doc Rivers, along with just the cohesion. They were the number one team last year in the West and in the entire NBA for almost half a season. And that was just because they played so well as a team, so cohesively, and they were just so well coached. And the Lakers, I believe, are very dysfunctional right now. And so I would definitely say the Clippers for that reason only.
This is lame because I agree with both of you, and I agree with both of your reasons too. I think the cohesion of the Clippers team is there significantly more than it is with the Lakers, and with any LeBron James team comes drama, and I think that's one why Kawhi didn't want to go there. But I mean, just because LeBron and Anthony Davis are leading the charge, I mean, we saw it last year. We'll probably see something similar too, just not to the significance of last year's drama. But I think in coaching, like Henry said, Doc Rivers, just the coaching staff for the Lakers is kind of a mess. It kind of has been since they started searching for one. So I don't think it's going to get any better just because the season started. So I'm going with the Clippers.
Yeah. Wow. I think this is very rare. We have everyone agreeing that the Clippers are going to be the better team than the Lakers in the upcoming season. So it's going to be exciting to watch. Unfortunately, I've just lost a simulated rock, paper, scissors game with Henry. So Henry is
going on.
Henry is going to introduce the seventh and final question to the unrapid fire. Henry, take it away.
So there have been recent reports that with Paul George leaving, Russell Westbrook is very unhappy. I know we've teased this a lot in this episode, but there are a lot of reports that Russell Westbrook can be traded, which will, first of all, completely and very distinctly say that, hey, the Thunder are going in a new direction, completely rebuilding. But my question is, will, and if so, where will all-star point guard Brody be traded?
Well, I went first the last time, so you guys can go this time.
All right. Oh, you go first.
All right, I'll take it. I think the biggest thing with the Russell Westbrook, with PG wanting out, is that no one wants to play with Russell Westbrook. They may like him as a person, but no one wants to play with him. So, there are only so many teams he can fit. I saw one report that like Houston was a possibility. Mm-hmm. No way. With that,
I would love to see Russell Westbrook, Chris Paul, and James Harden trying to fight over who gets to take the ball up the court.
That would be a really bad show. I really want to say it, but it would be amusing. I'll put it that way. I did see somewhere that the Detroit Pistons were a possibility. If the Detroit Pistons are a possibility, can we make the Bulls a possibility? Because I don't care. I'll take anyone. I need someone, please. Bulls or Pistons, either team. They're both my teams. I don't care. Either one. Just get him a star. But I think he most likely will be traded. I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. But, I mean, before the season. If he were to go somewhere, that's really hard because Because again, I don't know where Russell Westbrook fits. He barely fits on his own team anymore. They all left him. So where else is he gonna go? So I'm really torn on this one. I don't really have a definite answer. I'm sorry. Because I can't imagine him anywhere else. Definitely not Houston.
All right, Caleb, let's see your answer.
I mean, I don't think it's gonna be the Phoenix Suns, unfortunately. Although
That also
that would be interesting.
we'll take anyone.
Westbrook, Booker, Ayton. I would actually kind of like that.
in the same mix as the Bulls. We'll take anyone. I don't care. I would have taken Boogie Cousins even. I mean, obviously, but like.
No, the Bulls and the Suns are just right up there. They're just hopeless franchises that probably won't get any better until we're like all old.
Screwed over in the lottery.
Especially, since the lottery took place in Chicago, you guys got number 4. Oh, it's hilarious.
We were
number 6.
But moving back into the question.
Kobe White, go on.
Gosh, what about the New York Knicks? Huh? I mean, the Knicks, they've gotten screwed so badly over this offseason. This has probably been one of the worst off seasons I've ever seen for the Knicks. They can turn that around, though, if they acquire Russell Westbrook, because let's face it, the fans are getting mad. I think they're convinced the Knicks aren't going to be good for a while. Getting Russell Westbrook would finally change everyone's minds about the Knicks. That could be somewhat of a good path that they can go. Who knows, though? I mean, I could see LA being a possibility. With him joining the Lakers and the Clippers and the All-Star party that's going on over there. Who knows? I love to see the Knicks, though. So I'll go with the New York Knicks.
I might have to steal your answer there. Overall, I'm going to say no. I don't think that I don't think that Russell Westbrook will get traded in this offseason. But I think that the Knicks would be one of the best places he could possibly go. I think he would thrive in the big market. I think he would say, hey, come on, all criticism. I don't really think he would get along with James Dolan that well, but RJ Barrett has been proven that he can play second fiddle. He would be a great shooting guard. And yeah, the Knicks, again, they don't really have much going for them. And so I feel like they're young enough of a team where they could build around Westbrook if they did choose to go that way. But I think that right now the Thunder will keep Westbrook. He's been the mainstay. He's been a part of them since their move from Seattle. And so I'm going to say that that Westbrook, I think that some of those reports might be false, that he's not happy there. I feel like a lot of people just might be speculating. So, yeah, I'm going to say that. Yeah. Caleb, do you want to introduce our newest segment?
Yes. So that's going to do it for on Rapid Fire. And our last segment of the show before we call it quits. This is basically like a spin-off for Rapid Fire. It's been so much fun that we had to make it its own segment. The pop culture comparisons, where we mix some pop culture, a little bit of our mix of pop culture news into the sports world. And so with Spider-Man Far From Home coming out, the first Marvel movie since Avengers Endgame, do we want to include spoilers or not?
No spoilers, please.
No spoilers. Although
for what? Endgame or Far From Home? Hold on.
Oh, from Far From Home.
Okay, fair.
Far From Home, yes. So Spider-Man Far From Home will not spoil anything, but it was a great movie, especially those post-credit scenes. Just made me like jump out of my seat. Not going to go any further than that. So our question is, with Spider-Man Far From Home coming out, which Spider-Man character, or basically any character from the Spider-Verse, would you compare to a sports team, player, or coach? And this is obviously leaving out the spoilers from the latest Spider-Man movie. So, and this also includes the Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse movie or the previous trilogies with Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield. So really anyone. So what do you guys think? Who wants to go first?
Henry, please.
The second you mentioned the Tobey Maguire movies, I just was like, oh my God, who would be Dancing Spider-Man? That was just my absolute first thought because I'm a meme. But no, I'm going to go with Spider-Man. The most current iteration of Spider-Man, it's got to be Donovan Mitchell. I mean, his literal nickname is Spida. He's an absolutely fantastic dunker. Looks like he can walk on walls. I wouldn't be surprised if he take that out.
No, please keep it in.
But yeah, he's kind of taken over this Spider-Man persona. He was in one of the trailers for Spider-Man Far From Home. It was absolutely hilarious. Tom Holland went to look for his he went to look for his spider suit, and Donovan Mitchell was wearing. He's like, "Come on, man, can't I just test it out?" And they've actually had a lot of promotional material with Donovan Mitchell as Spider-Man, where like they're at Disneyland, and there was Spider-Man, and Donovan Mitchell took off his head, and then directly behind him was Tom Holland, who also took off the head. Just some absolutely hilarious things. And so yeah, I'm gonna go with the man who dubbed himself Spider. So Spider-Man, Donovan Mitchell.
So are you going with which Spider-Man? I feel like
I'm gonna go with the Tom Holland Spider-Man.
Okay. Like, there's like technically 4 or 5 right now.
Yeah.
Yes.
Depending on
Maybe.
I mean, not to spoil Spider-Verse, but like 4 or 5-ish.
100.
Yes.
There's an infinite number.
Well, I was talking about wearing the red and blue for the most part. I'm kind of still thinking. I didn't really prepare for this question. Caleb,
I'll go for this one. I'm gonna say Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man is Cam Newton.
Specifically the dancing scene, or
I'll get to that. Let me explain though. So Cam Newton was a great player, especially the year they went to Super Bowl 50. I mean, they embarrassed the Cardinals that year, unfortunately. But Cam Newton is one of those quarterbacks who's really good. And then all of a sudden, Spider-Man 3 happened, and he did those like ridiculous touchdown dances, and it just made a lot of fans like pissed off. And then especially at Super Bowl 50, when you saw after the game when he just didn't want to take any press, you can just tell he was kind of all that talk. Although hopefully, I think he's changed since. I think Cam Newton is Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. He was good he's good. He had a really good start, and then the ending. Or the last Super Bowl appearance, I guess, would resemble the ending. It just went downhill from there. So, no. And unfortunately, a Spider-Man 4 did not happen for Cam Newton because they never went back to the Super Bowl.
Well, don't say never, although it's somewhat unlikely. But I'm going to go with, this is what I first thought of, but I wanted to give it more thought. I'm going to go with the recent Miles Morales, so not comic book, Spider-Verse Miles Morales. And I'm going to go... I want to say I'm between Zion and RJ Barrett because through the movie of Spider-Verse, Miles gets these powers, not that he doesn't want them, but he doesn't know how to use them yet. I don't know what Henry's doing, but
he just muted himself.
You've seen Spider-Verse? What the? That's your fault.
I know. That's why I'm taking myself on mute, and I'm just gonna be humming to myself.
Okay, fair. Anyway, so he doesn't really know. Okay, first, Caleb, you've seen it, right?
No.
Do you care about spoilers?
No, I don't.
Okay, if you haven't seen Spider-Verse by now, sorry, but
no. If you haven't seen Spider-Verse, then skip to this time. We'll have the graphic on here.
But at least put my thing in there. But he doesn't really know like how to use his powers until the end, and I feel like that could be Zion, but like he knows his powers, he knows his worth, sort of a thing. So that's why I'm going to RJ Barrett, because he's with the Knicks, he's on a young team, a new team, as Miles was, and doesn't really know what he can do without Zion, I would say. So I think him not being with Zion is going to be really big for him, because do you remember the Duke North Carolina game, the big one that tickets cost like Super Bowl prices of? When Zion went out, that kind of hurt RJ's stock, if you ask me, because they didn't really play all that well without Zion. But besides the point, I'm going Miles and RJ Barrett.
Okay.
I remember that you can actually turn off volume. So yeah, rather than doing this stupid thing, I kind of do green.
Okay. We have more rebuttals or disagreements before we move on to the next and last question.
If you haven't seen Spider-Verse, go see it. It is the best Spider-Man movie
on my list.
Number one Spider-Man movie. I'm sorry, Spider-Man 2. It's not close.
Really, the Amazing Spider-Man 2 with Andrew Garfield and that incredibly awkward kiss scene. That was
no. I was talking about like Tobey Maguire Spider-Man.
Oh, but the best promises.
Henry, you just got so random. All right, Henry, why don't you introduce the final question?
The best promises are the ones that you don't keep. All right. Jesus. All right, going on next.
This is why I love this segment.
We mentioned Donovan Mitchell before. He recently released a theme of Marvels, going with his Spider-Man persona. He recently released a theme of Marvel shoes. They're absolutely fire, in my opinion. Caleb's going to put in a picture of them in post. But which current sports athlete has the best sneaker brand? Obviously, Jordan, I think, would be a very clear number one. So he's off. We are looking at the current sports athletes. LeBron's a little bit of a cop-out if you choose him, but you know what? We don't judge. So, Nicole, Caleb, which current sports athlete has the best sneaker brand? Not specifically basketball, any sports athlete.
I picked this one because I was going to go with Jordan's until I actually read the question a second time. So
that's why I specified.
Caleb,
you go first.
I'm gonna say James Harden. Those Adidas shoes, man, it's really awesome. What was it? I don't know if you guys saw on ASU Tempe for intramural sports, but I got to participate. Our team got to participate in the intramural championships, and it was all branded James Harden. James Harden brand to promote his new shoe line, and it was amazing. And just seeing how his shoe brand is just taken off. I mean, I think it's like more of a black and white brand, like the way their branding colors work, but it like the emblem looks amazing. It's just really cool. And and now that since I was on the team for the intramural championships, we got to get free Harden kicks, and it was so legit. So I've worn them for every basketball game I played since. So yeah, James Harden, hands down for me. So
wait, so
I mean, this is a paid sponsorship for
yeah, basically.
No, I'm amazed that I this is the first time I'm hearing about this. I'm sure you're saying thing with Nicole, but I mean, hey, that's how you get loyal customers, you know?
Well, I mean, I got it for free, so
no disrespect, do what you gotta do.
Yeah.
Hey, yeah, no, but seriously, no, James Harden is the best one. I can't really think of any other player that has their name on the map other than Donovan. So honestly, James Harden is the best. So, I mean, obviously, I would say Michael Jordan, like Nicole said, but that's off the table for this question. So just to fill it in, it would obviously be James Harden for me.
All right, Nicole. Had some time, had some new revelations.
Okay, edit this part out. What?
5 minutes later.
And we are back. Sorry for that brief break. We may or may not be editing this part out too, but who knows? Caleb, more work for you.
Yes.
Okay. I'm going with Kawhi Leonard, New Balance. I think, first of all, I have a pair of New Balance of my own that I run in. They're great.
Okay, Dad.
But what?
Okay, Dad.
But I mean, Kawhi, like you said, okay, Dad, like Kawhi going with New Balance. I remember when he first
one guy thing you could think of.
Yeah, I mean, when he first signed that deal, people were like, so wait, was he gonna design them as like the N with just all white, like nothing on them? He actually has these pretty nice looking red and blue ones, although it's a little too much red for my taste. But I'm going with Kawhi.
All right, that's an interesting take. For me, I had a few I was rummaging through. I love the Chris Paul, the CP3s. Damian Lillard has some awesome shoes. Russell Westbrook has a lot of customability with his Why Nots, which, by the way, I think is the best name. But overall, my final choice is going to have to be Dwayne Wade. The man has had an amazing shoe game. And his most recent Lean Yings are just absolutely beautiful to look at. I've been dying to get my hands on a pair. So he signed specifically, they're called Way of the Wade also. But this is awesome shoe deal with this company in China, Lean Ying. And it is just, the shoes, you should see them. They're absolutely beautiful. I don't know if you follow his Snapchat or his Instagram. He has some images of him just going through. They have him in the Vice colors, which is my favorite. It's my favorite jersey colors and sets in the entire NBA. But yeah, Dwayne Wade shoes, I have not heard a single bad thing about them. From what I hear, they're made beautifully. They look absolutely insane. And I hear that they play very well too. So yeah, shout out to Dwayne Wade. But unfortunately, that is all the time we have. Thank you guys for tuning into AZ Sportsbox, our podcast for the week of Monday, July 8th. Hope you guys enjoyed your July 4th. Luckily, there were no incidents involving fireworks in Jason Pierre-Paul. So you know what?
Earthquakes as well. Earthquakes.
Yeah, some earthquakes happened. There's a lot, but you know what? Everyone get your kids spayed and neutered. I meant pets, but you know what? Yeah, hope you guys enjoy, and have a great weekend, everyone.